Hi everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you guys are all getting ready for some fabulous time with family and friends. I'm definitely in the Christmas spirit early this year because up in New York we've been getting a ton of snow, which the last few years that has not been the case until long after Christmas and New Year's. So it's such a treat for everything to look snowy and white, and it's definitely put me in the Santa mood. So this look is a fun, sparkly Christmas glam. I played with some ideas that weren't red based, like played with some greens and golds, and then I realized at the end of the day, everyone thinks Christmas makeup, they think red lip and sparkles. So that's what you got, something very traditional, pretty easy to do. You could do this look without lashes. You could do it without the winged liner and kind of lighten it up, especially for during the day, just hanging out with your family on Christmas. So you could do this up or down, but I kind of showed you all the different techniques layered on. Anyway, Merry Christmas everyone, and New Year's tutorial coming up in the next week. I'm hoping it'll be up. And yeah, enjoy the holidays and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. So to prime the face, I'm actually using a new primer I don't think I've talked about before. This is by Ren Skincare, which is the skincare line that I use for pretty much everything. And they came out with this fabulous primer called Perfect Canvas, and it actually treats your skin while you're wearing it every day. And it comes out of that dropper and it feels super cold when it hits the skin, and it's almost like a serum primer. So I like this a lot. I've been wearing it often. It doesn't change how your makeup looks. It's just good for your skin. And then for under the eyes, using an oldie but goodie Becca backlight priming color corrector, brightening color corrector. I link it below. And a tapered Sigma brush, and I'm just going to brighten under the eyes so that we look awake and fresh. Not a full color correction, but this is a great everyday product when you just want to make sure that nothing under your eyes looks dark or dull. And then I realized I should probably do the glitter on the eyes first, so we're going to go back and just prime the lids. So a little Makeup Forever HD concealer, blending that out on the lids all the way up to the brow with a damp beauty blender. And then I'm just going to set that with the Marc Jacobs Instamarc Light Filtering powder and a soft, fluffy Sephora brush. I'm going to use that yellow powder and just set both my lids so we're ready to do shadow. Using the Lorac Mega Pro 3 palette and this color up here called Pecan. You'll notice all of the eyeshadows I use in this look are like holiday themed names, which is kind of just a coincidence. So with Pecan, which is like a beautiful warm transition blending shade, and a blending eyeshadow brush, I'm just going to go back and forth on from all the way to the inner corner, all the way to the outer corner, bringing it up towards the brow bone. Just basically from the crease up, we want this color blended out. And then with Cinnamon, which is this warm, golden, almost like apple cidery shade. Actually, it might be called cider, not cinnamon, the color. We're going to keep that in the crease, bring it from the inner corner to outer corner, and just blend it out, almost like we're creating a wing, because that gives us a framework for the actual winged liner we're going to do later on. And then finally, to add the red, we're going to use Pomegranate, this reddish shimmer shade that's in the palette. Red isn't necessarily an eyeshadow shade that everyone uses all the time or is super comfortable with. And don't worry, this look is perfect if you're a beginner with reds, because we're actually going to apply it really messy and then clean it up. So don't worry if you kind of get it everywhere in that outer corner. That's the idea. It's going to look a hot mess until we clean it up and you see the whole thing come together. So I'm really concentrating this in the outer corner, pulling it down onto the outer corner of the actual lid below the crease, and then blending it about 2/3 of the way across the crease and out to the corner. So you'll see, yeah, hot mess, but we're going to fix it. So then with a tiny little flat brush, I'm using the color, I think it's called Snow, which is fitting. It's just pure white shimmer. I'm going on the inner corner and bringing it out like maybe 1/3 of the way across, keeping it only on the lid, not bringing it up above the crease line, and then just blending it out. The middle of your lid should kind of feel blank, and that's okay, because that's where we're going to apply all of the fabulous red glitter. And you'll see I was really struggling with this eye, and you'll notice throughout the tutorial I really struggled with this inner corner. Something was either on my eye that I didn't realize, or just something with my skin chemistry, but that was not adhering. All right, so for glitter, we're using Too Faced glitter glue and that same little brush, and we're going to apply that. You'll see I'm placing it across the very center of the lid. Excuse me, that was my cat meowing. And then we're going to take the other end of this brush and stick it in this. This is a MAC glitter from an old holiday collection, but you could literally use any loose glitter or pigment that you like. And we're just going to press that into the glue on the lid, and keeping the lid closed the whole time so that the glue doesn't move up or transfer onto the upper portion of your eye. And you'll see how that is just such a little statement. And then I went back in with a little bit more glue because I realized I wanted the glitter to kind of have that ombre faded effect further into the inner corner. And see all that fallout on my face of the glitter? You're going to get that, so just be prepared. That's why we're starting with the eyes, so that we can wipe all that away later. So now I'm going to go back in, do that exact same step on the other eye. You can kind of have a better look on this side from this angle. And apply the Too Faced glitter glue from the middle of the eyelid to the outer corner, and then fading it toward the inner corner, not all the way in. And then pressing the glitter / pigment, whichever you choose to use, into the lid, and making sure that that fades toward the inner corner. So now we're going in with a makeup wipe, and we're just going to clean this up. Now I put my nail in there pretty firmly, so you can use the edge of your nail to create a nice clean line where you want your wing to be. So I kind of go from the inner corner straight back to the temple and try to make it as even in terms of the angle on both sides of your face. It's tough to do. If you mess it up, you can always go back in with more shadow, make it messy, and then clean it up again. So now I'm using a little MAC Fix Plus to try and make this white shimmer pop better on the inner corner of my eye, really because of this, my left lid just wasn't cooperating. It was not adhering to my lid. I don't know what was going on that day. I've never had this issue before. And so then once I was done applying all that and my face was clean, I went back in with that Becca under eye corrector and just added that. So for foundation, I'm using the Smashbox Studio Skin foundation stick that has contour on the other end. So I'm going in with the foundation shade first and kind of applying this around my face. And then I'll spray my foundation brush with some MAC Fix Plus. This helps blend out stick foundation really beautifully and also helps it have some extra staying power because there's glycerin in the Fix Plus, which helps stuff stick. So like I said, circular motions, buffing out the foundation with this slightly dampened foundation brush. This is by It Cosmetics. You can get it at Huda Beauty, and it's a beautiful brush. It's super, super soft. And then when you get near your shadow on those outer corners, just be careful that you don't wipe anything away too rough. Just be mindful of your brush strokes when you're near the edges of your eyes. And because we're going to use concealer, which you see me applying there, you don't have to bring the foundation all the way up into your under eye area. We're going to cover that with the concealer using a beauty blender. So the damp beauty blender, I love the pointed one by Real Techniques because it really lets you get into that inner corner near the edge of your nose. And perfect for when you're doing these kind of eye first looks. It has that pointed tip, so it's not difficult to blend out the concealer along your wing line at the edge of your eye. And then I just did a little concealer everywhere where I would normally highlight. So the center of my chin, the Cupid's bow above the lip, and then the center of my forehead as well. Very difficult to blend out this concealer. I love the color and I love the finish of it, the Makeup Forever HD concealer, but the application is difficult because it's in that squeeze tube. You never get the exact amount that you want or get it applied exactly where you want. So now using this angled contour side of the Smashbox foundation stick, you'll see it's a much darker shade, and they've kind of pre-chosen for you what's the best contour shade based on which foundation shade is on the other end, which is kind of nice. It's like 2-in-1 and foolproof for shade matching. So I'm using the angled tip to get under that lower lip because I want my lips to look really pouty. Bold red lips look best when they look full. Doing around the edge of the forehead. I did a little bit on the chin, and now I'm using the very, very tip to do the nose. This is actually a really tough contour technique for the nose because that stick is a little clumsy, so you see my lines were crooked, but we'll straighten it out when we blend it. And then this is just a fluffy airbrush. I think it's a contour brush technically from Sephora brand, but it's really, really nice. I love the long handle. It gives you extra control. And I'm just softly buffing this out. And when you get to the smaller areas like under the lip and the nose, I actually use this smaller Morphe brush that I always use for my nose contour. And forgive me for cutting out the rest of my blending out my contour. My camera actually stopped filming and I didn't catch it for a minute, and so I don't have footage of me blending the rest of that out. But you guys know how to blend at this point. I think you got it covered. So yeah, I'm straightening out that contour a little bit. You just use your brush strokes to direct the product exactly where you want it as you buff it out, and you can straighten that line. Going back in again with the Marc Jacobs Instamarc palette and that same fluffy Sephora under eye brush, I'm setting my, my concealer with that yellow powder. And you're just, again, going to be mindful of the edge of your wing line and just bring that all the way in from the outer edge of your nose all the way up to your temple. And then same thing, set your center of your face, your chin, your cupid. Anywhere where you put concealer, it's good to set it so you don't get creasing and everything stays all night. So now we're going to do some glitter because I was not feeling that white. It just wasn't working the way I intended. This is a great video for like hacks on how to fix something when it doesn't turn out the way you intended. So this is Urban Decay Heavy Metal Liquid Glitter in, I forget the color. It's the gold color. There's only one gold. And I'm sort of painting over the white with this glitter. It helped a lot, but you can tell my right eye, because the white had adhered so much better, even the glitter has so much more pop. But it will be what it will be. That eye was not cooperating. So now for brows, as always, this is my ride or die. I don't see this changing anytime soon. The Hourglass Arch Definer Pencil. It's angled. They have a great range of colors. I love, love, love this pencil. It has wax built into the formula, so it helps keep your brows in place also, and it's really easy to control. So I'm a huge, huge fan of the Hourglass Brow Arch Definer. And I just fill in the line underneath first to define my arch, and then I fill in the front of the brow a little bit with upward hair-like strokes, and then I draw a line across the top at whatever thickness brow I want that day. Some days I like to go a little bit stronger brow. If it's more natural look, I might go a little bit thinner and lighter. And once everything's filled in, I just brush it out with the spoolie on the end, and then I can see where any little gaps are or where the shape isn't quite right, and go back in and shape it up. Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel will keep every single hair exactly where you leave it. This brow gel is definitely tough. And like that, the other brow is done, because no one needs to watch that twice. So Kat Von D Tattoo Liner, I swear by this liner, especially for beginners, because the tip is so fine. It's very easy to control how you're drawing the line. If you're trying to start with like a gel liner in a little capsule and a loose brush, it just takes a lot more of a steady hand and a lot more practice and technique. So a pen like this from Kat Von D is really going to help you when you're learning how the line should be drawn for your eye shape too. You kind of have to start the line, open your eye. Does it curl up too much? Is it too straight? Is it too long? Is it too thick? Everyone's eye shape is a little bit different, and everyone's preference for how their wing liner looks is a little bit different. So don't be afraid to experiment. Like before you're going to bed one night, just sit at your vanity or your mirror in your bathroom and practice on a bare eye so that you can wipe it off and try again until you find a shape that you really, really like. So I brought it about, it's not a super long wing because I really wanted the red to be the star, but I brought it most of the way out from where we had our blended shadow line. And then I bring it all the way across to like, I would say 2/3. See, in this case, it was too curved. I'm not happy with it, but we're going to fix it. Like I said, this video is a great hack for how you can screw something up a little bit and still have plenty of opportunity to make it look the way you want before you're done. So like I was saying, I draw the bottom of the wing line first, and then from wherever it ends, I draw from that point inward until it meets like my lash line about 2/3 of the way in. And I like to keep the wing liner once we get towards the inner third of the eyelash line, like very, very thin. So I do that part last. And then I open my eye and check it, and based on the shape, I might have to adjust. So here, I'm using a little makeup remover and one of these super pointed Q-tips. That's really important that you have these. And then very gently, you don't want to press hard because we're not trying to take our concealer off. I'm just going to lightly dab it right where I knew the line wasn't quite right and just shape it the way I want it. This is the dry end now. Or see, this is the wet end. I'm being very gentle, very small strokes. And then you can use the dry end on the other side to wipe away the makeup remover and make sure you're not dissolving your concealer. So now with that cider color, again, the golden shade and a narrow pencil brush, I'm not doing a heavy lower lash line liner or shaded shadow. We're just going to use this warm golden shade to kind of round the whole eye look out and give that bottom lash line a little definition. And then top it off with some more of that Urban Decay Gold liquid glitter. We're going to wrap around the inner corner of the eye and then bring it maybe a third to a half of the way across the lower lash line, just to bridge it all together and give that extra pop of sparkle. You could just do mascara with this look if you're going a little more low-key, or you're at home with the family, or you're just not a fan of wearing false lashes. You could absolutely just do mascara. This is the Tarte Tarteist lash paint. It's incredible, but I do recommend 2 coats. So I would do the top lashes, let them dry, and then do them again if you're not wearing falsies. These falsies, you can see I'm trimming them because they were brand new out of the package, and I like to trim them a little because I think when they're too long they look especially fake. And then I'm just putting on my glue along the band and letting it dry for a second until it gets sticky. These are the Huda Beauty Samantha lashes. You can get them in Sephora. And then once your glue is a little bit more sticky, you can see the color changes. I use a pair of tweezers and stick the center of the band to the center of my lid as close to the lash line as you can possibly get it. And then I stick the outer corner while my eye is closed, and then I open my eye and do the inner. You'll see me do it again here, probably with a better view. So center of the lash band, outer corner, very close to the lash line. And then I'll get my grip on the lashes while my eye is shut and start to position it. And then when I open my eyes, where I can really see and make sure that that inner corner is not only stuck, but it really is tight to my lashes. You can use the tweezers if you're careful to pinch. Now see how that wouldn't attach on that eye? That is the eye I've been having trouble with this entire look. So I had a feeling that the glue was not going to stick. Something must have been on my lid that day that I just didn't realize. So I paint a little extra glue on that inner corner very carefully. That's why I like this House of Lashes glue. It's not a squeeze tube, it's a brush, so you can control how you're applying it. And then using the tweezers, once that has a second to get sticky, very gently pushing that into the inner corner, and I can feel it now that it's sticking. And then I just pinch it with my natural lashes so there's no gap, and it looks more natural. All right, so now that that finally stuck, I'm going back in with my mascara and doing the lower lash line. I recommend doing your lower lashes after you're done with putting on your falsies, just so that if your eyes water or anything, it doesn't mess up your lower lashes. And for blush, I'm combining these 2 shades from the Becca Jaclyn Hill face palette. So it's kind of like the warm matte brown shade and then the slightly shimmery peach shade, and together they make a really beautiful color. And then I'm going to use Prosecco Pop from that same palette for the highlight. You can also buy Prosecco Pop by itself now. You don't have to buy the whole face palette to get that color. They made it part of the permanent collection, which they should, because Jaclyn designed a gorgeous highlight. So along the cheekbones, the nose, center of the forehead, Cupid's bow, and the middle of the chin. Just little touches. You just want your whole face to glow, but you don't have to look like, you doused your face in sparkle. We're going to let the eyes do that part. And then for lips, I'm going with a classic red lip. Can never go wrong with this color. It looks good on every skin tone. This is MAC Ruby Woo. I'm using the matching liner. The liner you'll see looks a bit more pink. The formulation, that's how it is. But the liner really helps because the MAC Ruby Woo lipstick is extremely dry. It's extremely matte. But I find that if I use the liner first, it really helps prevent the lipstick getting uncomfortable throughout the night. So I overline my lips a little bit and completely fill them in with the liner, and then I go in and go over that exact same thing with the lipstick, and you can already see how much more red it looks once the lipstick is applied. It glides on more easily if you've already done the liner. For this particular shade from MAC, I can't recommend enough using the liner and the lipstick together. And the great thing about the liner is once you've applied your lipstick, you can go back in and use the liner to make sure that your edges are super clean. It makes cleanup of a red lip so easy. And as an unexpected last step, I've decided that since I'm so pale right now, I really just wanted to warm up my face a bit more. So I grabbed the Tarte Amazonian Clay Bronzer and a big fluffy brush and kind of just went over our contour. And then set the whole thing with Urban Decay makeup setting spray or any setting spray you see fit. And this look is all set. Super festive, super fun. And I hope you guys enjoy and have a wonderful holiday season. I will see you back here for New Year's. Bye, guys.